Hey, what's up, Mental Health Nation? It's Wednesday. Hope everybody's having a great Wednesday. Before I jump into everything, I just want to say, obviously, my co-host Lynn, she lives in the Tampa area, so she's dealing with the hurricane. So thoughts and prayers out to her and her family, but also for anybody who's in the path of the hurricane. Please, I hope you would have evacuated by now, and you're staying safe, and you have all your provisions and prepared for the storm. It goes back to what I've been saying, here on the Mental Health Warrior, all summer long is, it's always good to always be prepared for no matter what. Always have that 3 months of food and all the other provisions at your house, just in case, because you never know when an emergency is going to happen. We got winter coming on, lots of things going on, and so that becomes very important. Along with that, I want to talk about wreaths across America. You have the QR code up there in the corner. They have the drive now for the wreaths to go for on the tombstones of the soldiers. So it's a very important program. I'm very proud to be part of that. So you just click that with your phone on the QR code. It takes you right to the page. You can donate as little as $5, and that'll ensure that those tombstones do have that wreath on there during the holidays. And what a great, amazing program! And I'm so happy to be part of it. Along with that, you have the 10th Mountain Code up there with the 10th Mountain Bourbon. Super proud. Guys, I talk about their bourbon. I love their bourbon. It's really good. So give them a site, give them a visit, along with the two other code there on Veterans Mortgage and Paradise. Click on those QR codes and check it out. They do sponsor not only the Veterans Trash Talk, but also sponsor other podcasts. At PCS to Paradise. There we go. I can't read tonight. I'm tired. As you can tell, I've had a busy week. So if you saw my postings on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, we had a senior spouses group that I co-hosted. But I had the honor of actually being in the kitchen at kind of the Italian restaurant that I've been working at and actually make the lasagna from scratch. And I was super proud to be able to do that. And it gives me a great sense of honor to be able to work in kind of restaurant and really learn authentic Italian cooking. And it helps with my Italian. So with that, it goes hand in hand. I do have the Mental Health Warrior book. It's still available on my website. I still have it discounted to $15.99 plus shipping and handling. So if you order it through my website, I'll sign it and get it back to you. And sorry about my voice. I've been doing lots of talking today. As you can see, I got Bull with me today. He's going to join me. He's my co-host for the day. Bull, how you doing? Well, I'm doing okay today. I'm not a ventriloquist. But hey, Bull, every now and then you got to take life by the horns, right? Hey, don't touch me. But hey, this week I've been doing a lot of postings. It is Mental Illness Week, Awareness Week. And so, we talk a lot about mental health. And of course, there's a lot of folks out there that deal with a mental illness, which is two separate things. And so I've been posting about things on how to deal with that and the importance of dealing with your mental illness. And that can, include a whole bunch of things. And, I'm going to get into a bunch of things tonight. So I'm glad everybody has tuned in. Thanks for tuning in. Every now and then you'll see me look down. It's because I'm answering on my phone or following up. Hey, Chris, I don't see it on my Mental Health Warrior Facebook app. Can you check on that real quick? It's not saying it's a live feed coming up. Hey, Birdie, thanks for tuning in. What's up? Glad you joined us tonight. Oh, now I see it. Hey, give me 1 second here as I mute it because I don't want to hear myself talk twice. So, before I jump into everything, and I was talking about, the hurricanes, and we've heard all kinds of conspiracy theories out there. And I'm just kind of wondering what my audience thinks about that, because there's been a lot of talk on X and a lot of the other social media platforms about the hurricane being man-made or not man-made, at least being enhanced by man, I guess you could say, or by some weather industry or some industry to make the hurricane stronger, and then they're available to steer it. And I find that kind of interesting because they've talked about weather manipulation for years, with cloud seeding and other stuff going on. One thing I found interesting since moving to Italy is coming from the States is when jets fly over here, there is no contrails coming out of them. And you'll see the jet go across, and there's no contrails in the sky here. I mean, every once in a long while, you'll see one with a contrail, but it disappears very quickly behind the jet. I'm not too sure why that is. So it's kind of interesting to see. So it'll be interesting to see as time goes on, what's going to go on with this hurricane and with what they're saying. Once again, thoughts and prayers. Last week we were talking about Hurricane Elena, who made landfall, and the severe flooding, the damage that went on in North Carolina and Georgia. And those folks are still struggling as they still struggle to try to get supplies in. And thanks to all the groups out there who have been helping and on the ground to try and help those families and get aid to them and medicine. And it's just a really rough situation right now. Thoughts and prayers to everybody out of Wyoming with the huge wildfire going on. It just seems like right now everything's getting crazy in the United States. Sure, it has nothing to do with the election coming up in November. I'm sure positive. But with all of this stuff going on, how do you handle that mentally? Right? It can be very mentally wearing on you, with all these different things going on. And you don't even have to be in the affected area. It could just be affecting you because you have family members or friends in those areas. I saw a report that kind of depressed me a little bit tonight. Right before I came on the air, I was reading on X about how the suicide rate in North Carolina, they've started to report now, has started to skyrocket. And, I guess that's tough, because if you lost everything and now you're not getting help, or things just keep getting worse and worse and worse, and you just can't get that one win or that one thing that's going to keep you from taking your life. I understand how that is, but just know that there's other things, and things can and will get better over time, even if it seems bleak right now. And that doesn't have to refer to a natural disaster or anything. It could be due to mental illness. It could be due to the fact that you have PTSD. It could be due to the fact that you, like my good friend Chris Pace, he was injured in a car wreck. He's got a second TBI now. He's going to have possible back surgery. And so, his life took a complete change out of the blue. And so it's tough to look to or try to find wins when everything around you has collapsed, when everything around you is terrible, when everything around you is horrible, when nothing's going right. Maybe the bills are piling up. Maybe you no longer have a home. Maybe you no longer have food, no longer have water. What do you do if you're in that situation? What do you do if you're in that mindset? Or what can you do to give yourself a win to struggle to try to make it next to the next day? That's tough. Those are hard questions to ask. I mean, people can give you the easy answer, right? They can say, oh, well, go do this or go do that, or, you can, change your environment, or get up and walk outside, or, go look at something different. But if you don't have that opportunity, if you're in a disaster area, you have nothing. What can you reach upon to make it through the next day or keep moving forward? And I would say it would have to be your faith. Your faith in whatever religion you believe in is what's going to get you through during those times when there's nothing around you. And it's important to, become, look inward and spiritual, however you define that. And people define spirituality different ways. And so when you have nothing, that's maybe the only thing you can look forward to or turn into to look. You can read scriptures in the Bible. You can do all kinds of different things to try to find that inspiration to, if anything, make it through another minute, make it through another hour, make it through another day, another week, another month. Sometimes we measure time, or we measure recovery, we measure success, I think, too far out. I mean, I posted a meme about the frog standing out there looking at the rain, and he said for 45 seconds I didn't have any anxiety, or something to that effect. Hey Brian, how you doing? And I said, that's great, you went 45 seconds, so tomorrow let's work on 60 seconds. Then I said the next day 120 seconds. And so it's important to maybe not focus on the whole day, but focus on seconds and minutes of the day, especially if you have your anxiety levels high. Maybe you have, a mental illness. One of the things I posted the other day, let me go back and look, because I post so much stuff, I forget what I post almost daily. But, one of the things I posted out there was ways, you can look after your mental health. And now this has nothing to do if you're in a disaster area. But you can take a break from your phone. Obviously, you can, change your diet. You can eat a little bit better. You can go exercise. You can do all those things that I've talked about endlessly. But in reality, when you're in your thoughts of your own mind, you got to look inward and find it out for yourself, because I can talk about all these things and these things are great and they work, but what works for you? What's going to be the one thing that you're going to think about, or you're going to wonder what you can do differently when you have nothing else around you? I don't have my green screen up today. As you notice, I don't have the mental health warrior in my background. Um, this is my office here in Italy, or my room here in Italy. And, it's not the perception of something different. It's the perception of reality right now. And as reality is, this is the room that I do my podcast in. And, it's very white, very bleak. I got a gray couch here. I'll show you. Over there, my book and my son's desk and everything here. But sometimes this room, no matter how small it is, becomes my sanctuary when I need to get away or take a break. And of course, and I didn't show, and I apologize, the hatchlings will get mad, but there's the hatchlings behind my computer, and of course my Reads Across America hat and Reads Across America radio. So, when you're in that moment, or when you're in that state of mind, what do you think about to get out of that if you're going down a rabbit hole? It wasn't too many days ago, I was in that moment. I was feeling that. And, I like to say, and I'd like to give myself a thumbs up, that I'm always, not going down those rabbit holes of depression or things like that. It's, how do you do it? Let's see, what did he say? Yeah, Jeremiah, I agree with you. Absolutely 100%. You never underestimate the thoughts of prayer. And that's a very good point to bring out. And I guess that's what I was alluding to earlier when I was talking. Because when you have nothing, sometimes that's all you have. And thanks for bringing that up. I appreciate that. But so as I was, I don't know why I was feeling the way I was feeling the other day. I've been working a lot of hours at the restaurant. I volunteer there. I don't get paid. It's something that I do out of passion. In my way, it's giving back, but I'm learning. So I'm getting as much as I'm giving. I feel like when I go to work at the restaurant. But I was struggling because they don't speak English in the kitchen. I only speak Italian, and I don't speak Italian. I'm taking Italian lessons. And, then you throw on top of that normal home life stuff, because we're very busy in the household. And I think just for me, and I was drinking a little too much too. That's always a key sign when something's going on with me. I start drinking more than I normally drink. And it took me a long time to realize that. And so if you're like me, and every now and then I like to have a drink, drink the bourbon at night, the 10th Mountain Bourbon, just to sit and relax. And what I notice is when I come home from it's about 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm pretty tired. Sometimes, I'm just kind of ramped up from the work and doing everything. And I would sit down and have, a drink and relax and watch TV, play Destiny or something, just to kind of relax my mind. But I notice when I start going through issues with anxiety or depression or other things, I start drinking a little bit more. And I never really looked at that or really paid attention to that, because I just thought, well, if I have one drink or two drinks, that's no big deal. And so one thing that I did when I noticed that going on is I didn't stop drinking. But what I did was something that a doctor told me a long time ago, was start measuring my drinks. And so I have a little 1 ounce glass. And when I drink my bourbon or whatever, I only limit myself to 2 glasses, which is only 2 ounces of bourbon, which isn't much. But if I don't measure it, my first glass is, maybe this much. And then if you guys are watching or listening on Reads Across America, I'm pointing to a glass, and it's a 8-ounce glass. So I'm pointing at the 4-ounce mark, probably, a bourbon. And then my second glass is maybe, 4 or 5 ounces too. And so, I'm drinking maybe 6 ounces of bourbon, where if I measured, I'm only drinking 2. And then I started doing that. And then I realized that as I reduce the amount of alcohol that I'm drinking, I start sleeping better. And as I start sleeping better, sleep is so important that I notice that my anxiety level or my depression slowly starts going away. And so for the past, I don't know, week and a half, roughly, I really haven't hardly drank at all. Um, and so I think that's really helping. But that's something that I've noticed in myself that if, when you're feeling kind of like out of sorts or something's not right, or maybe you just feel bleh that day, or I don't know, it's hard to explain, right? If my mind's just not there, right? Something's going on in my head and all kinds of crap goes on in my head all the time is I start feeling lonely or loneliness, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, but it's like it's like the post I put out there by SpongeBob, right? I jump on and help everybody's problems, but how I'm dealing with my problems is sitting in the room quietly, being alone. And when I notice that, or when things like that, when I talk about when I start drinking more, it generally has something to do with that. And then I have to change what I'm doing in order not to continue going down that road. And, like I said, one of the things I do is I monitor the amount of alcohol I drink. Not that I've ever drank a lot in my life. I've never been an alcoholic. I don't normally have more than 2 drinks because I have to get up to take care of the kids. And it's been like that even when I was on active duty. And so I would always do that. Even now, I get home, I go to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm back up at 7 to make sure Lloyd gets off to school. And then once he's off to school, sometimes I'll go back to sleep. Or if I don't go back to sleep, at least I'll stay up, go to the gym, work out, run, do whatever, and then just take a nap in the afternoon. And that seems to work for me. Um, but I'm just kind of curious out there for listeners, when you feel that coming on, what do you do? How do you, do you, like Jeremiah says, do you pray more? Do you do like me? You start realizing it and drinking less? Do you maybe go for a walk in the evening? Do you do something different? What do you do when those thoughts or feelings come in? And maybe you're having a lot of stress at work. Maybe you're having a lot of stress at home. Those people out there in North Carolina and Florida and Georgia and Virginia and all those areas been affected by the storm. Their life's completely changed and still not back to normal. And so how do you figure out what the new normal is? If you've been through a tragic event, if you've been through something traumatic in your life, how do you get back to normal? How do you realize what real normal is? You may never really know what real normal is. Your old normal may not be your new normal, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? I mean, I know when you go through recovery, when you are going through, if you had a substance abuse problem or you had PTSD, maybe you suffered MST or any whatever trauma you're going through, when you come out of it and you get help, and now that you're on the positive side into the negative side, you're not the same person. You're a different person. And so your normal has changed. And sometimes I think we forget that. And sometimes I think we go back wanting to be the old normal. And you can't go back to the old normal because you know where that road leads down. So you have to adjust to your new normal. Like me adjusting to here in Italy. I've been in Italy now 9 months. And so it became my new normal last December. And I've done a lot of things since being here in Italy. And obviously the biggest thing and thing I'm most proud of is obviously working in the Italian restaurant, learning how to cook authentic Italian food, which is completely unheard of in Italy. I don't know if you guys understand that the mere fact that I'm working in an Italian restaurant as American is almost unequivocally unheard of, especially in this area. And so I was teasing Anthony last night, Antonio, the owner, that I bet he never thought in a million years that an American would be cooking in his kitchen. He kind of thought that was funny. But it's interesting. They all watch me when I cook and make sure I'm doing it right. But it's satisfying to work and it gives me something to do. But how is it that when you notice, you know what? I get that, Jeremiah. I really do. He's saying his work is a sanctuary And he's a machinist, so it's a blessing he's able to do that. It is kind of interesting. So I think the reason I like working at kindness so much and the way it's really helped my mental health is because it's repetitive work, but it's something that's new to me, but it's not that new to me, right? Because I've always cooked my whole life. So it gives me something to do. We only work a couple of days a week, but it gives me something to do on those days differently than what I've been doing. And so everybody's got to find their own sanctuary spot, their own place where they go to adjust or to recharge themselves. And sometimes work can be that, and that's not a bad thing. That's a great point to come up with, Jeremiah. Is that sometimes, for some people, work is their sanctuary. I would probably argue that my wife would tell you that probably her going to work is her sanctuary, just as it was for me when I was in the military and going to work, because I enjoyed what I did. I enjoyed my job. But then when I retired, I had to find a new norm. And I guess apparently working in 10 restaurants is my new norm that I enjoy and I like. But, it is mental illness week, we kind of shine a highlight on it, along with breast cancer month. And I think it's ADHD month too also. So, hey Max, thanks for that. Hey, so let us know what your business is. Throw it out there in the chat section. Matt said he started his own business to help me to deal with my own mental health. See, that's a great point. You always got to find something. Maybe it's a hobby. Maybe it's a work. You got to find something that's gonna help you when nothing else is, right? Especially for men, we're not always going to go out and talk about our problems. We're not always going to go out and do stuff. I don't have my 69 Mustang here in Italy that I can work on because I love working on cars. Oh, hot sauce business, sweet. Throw your link. If you're online or have it online, throw the link in there, Max. But I used to always work on cars. But one thing I've done here in Italy, and I've posted pictures about it, and I made a little funny thing is, hey, you're poor, so you got to fix your own crap. Oh, nice. Is Ammo Hot Box hot sauce. Awesome. They have a hot sauce out here that mixes with olive oil that's really good. And a couple of the Pepe makes his own sauce with the olive oil. It's really good. Actually, it's quite popular out here. But, I used to work on the Mustang where I don't have the Mustang here. So I started fixing other people's cars here, just to give me something to do. And so I started this whole series as, hey, you're poor, so learn how to fix your own crap. And it's a lot of truth that so if you don't have to go buy a new set of wheels, you can sand and paint the wheels that you have. You don't have to, go buy a new car. You can fix the car that you have. I mean, you have those possibilities. I mean, nowadays you can YouTube anything. So, hey, Chris, did you want to come on the show? Take your class and come on the show? Chris is taking a class online, I guess, for it. How he rebooted his computer. So, so there's different things that you can do out there for your mental health, for your mental illness. And it's so very important, right? So I talk about this all the time, and you guys probably get tired of me preaching about it, but it is October. And you say, okay, well, what does that mean, Cliff? What the hell? October means nothing. But it's very important because what's going to happen here in the next couple of weeks, minus the hurricanes and all that crap going on. But what's going to happen? The days are starting to get shorter now, and the leaves are starting to change. And so we know, not so much in the fall, but more so in the spring, that with the change of the weather, with the not having longer daylight hours, that people's start having more mental health issues with the change of the weather. And there's many, many reasons for that. There's the seasonal change disorder and all kinds of stuff. But sometimes I think that if you're stuck in a rut and you're not changing, something's changing outside that you can't control, right? And for others, that can be very depressing because now they're saying, oh, crap, I just went through another summer and did the same stuff again, right? Or, oh, crap, here comes, winter and all the holiday seasons. We got Halloween, we got Thanksgiving, we got, Christmas, and all those things for some people can be a very stressful time. And so now, once those leaves starting to change and fall's coming on, you can really start feeling the depression and stuff rise. And so that's why it's important to talk about these things we're talking about, with Jeremiah and praying, with Max and starting his own business. It's important to have those kinds of things when stuff starts changing around you and you can't control it. Um, so it's pretty important. And I will tell you, he brings up a good point. Sun exposure is really, really important to your mental health. One thing I do every single day is I give myself, I call it sun therapy. I go out in the sun every single day. There has been many, many studies on that now showing that actually not going in the sun is bad for you. The sun can cure some certain types of skin cancer. Of course, you get your vitamin D in it. And of course, that becomes a struggle in the wintertime when the days are shorter and maybe it's harder for you to go out and get time in the sun. And so I would employ everybody, do your research, do your research on sun therapy, see how the science behind it is starting to change now and actually showing that, one thing you need to look at, and one thing I started doing here in my family a couple of years ago, is we stopped wearing sunglasses outside. Now you say, why would you do that? That's kind of stupid. Well, if you're not driving, if you're driving your car, it's perfectly fine to wear. But if you're going to be out in the sun and exposed to the sun, if you have sunglasses on, you can look up Barbara O'Neill and other well-known doctors who talk about this, is the sunglasses are polarized. And so when you wear those sunglasses outside in the sun, your eyes don't know you're in the sun. And so your brain never registers it. And so that's why you get sunburn. My son, who is very fair skinned, Lloyd, we stopped wearing sunscreen years ago. We go to the beach all the time and we don't wear sunscreen. We don't wear sunglasses. And since we started doing that, him and I have not been sunburned. And if we do get a little bit red, it goes away very quickly. And so what is that? So what am I saying? So when you're out in the sun, you don't have sunglasses on, your brain knows you're in your sun. It tells your body, your skin cells to close down. And then that way you have less of a chance to get sunburned. But do your own research. I'm a very holistic person here. I went on this holistic journey many years ago, and I've self-taught myself how to, make medicines and how to do all this stuff. But I did it through my own research, buying books, researching, talking with my doctor, and all these things. And all that's important for my mental health. And I think sometimes people look for the easy road out, and it's not always an easy road. There's never an easy road to change. There's never an easy road to recovery. There's never an easy road for anything. And if it is too easy, then is it really worth doing? And so, for me and my mental health and my injuries and my TBI and my ADHD from my TDI and stuff, I've really found out that the holistic medicine and the things that I've done, the changes I've made in my life, have had a profound effect on me. I'm 54 years old. I work out religiously. I'm pretty ripped for that age. And I take no medications at all. None. If my allergies kick up, I got local honey that I bought from my local beekeeper. That honey is from different times of the year. I just talked to a beekeeper this past weekend, and I bought honey for the fall. Certain bees that take certain flowers out here, so you can get bees that have been with eucalyptus flowers or all kinds of different things, and those have different healing properties. And I always keep honey around because, as you guys know, you can take garlic and onion and mix it with honey and kind of make your own cough syrup or the flu balm. And there's lots of things you can do, to make yourself more healthy. And plus, there's a lot of poisons in American food. We know that. I'm not saying anything it doesn't know, but a lot of that stuff in that food can lead into your depression. It causes you to gain weight. It causes you to crave things. And it's all designed that way. And so once you break that habit, it's pretty amazing. I come to Italy and I've eaten a lot. And I'm sure you guys noticed my face. I've dropped almost 4 waist sizes, and I eat way more pastas and bread here in Italy than I ever did in the States. There's times at the restaurant that's all I'm eating because we're constantly tasting the food when it comes out. But I've actually dropped 3 waist sizes since I'm down in, I could probably wear size 29 pants in my waist, which I haven't been like that since I was in high school. But I mean, I still weigh 180 pounds. But it's pretty amazing that once you stop that cycle of all those chemicals getting into your body, how much better you start to feel. And I just had this long conversation at my event today with another person. and was telling about, cayenne pepper, drinking lemon water in the morning. Of course, I take olive oil every day. You know, how important castor oil is and all the things that castor oil can do, from removing warts to helping with menstrual cycle problems, how cayenne pepper can help with migraines, just all this. Once you dive into it and you realize that we have lost so much knowledge of the plants and things around us. And I do grounding every day. I have the grounding mats. If you don't know what grounding is, you can Google it, but pretty much take your shoes off and go walk around outside and touch the earth. And if you think about it, if you're gone on vacation and you're at the beach and you got your shoes off and you're touching the earth and you're feeling that, you start feeling a lot better. And so you notice that while you're on vacation, you feel good and you think it's because I'm not at work. But maybe it has something to do with that. But maybe it has a lot to do with, yes, capsaicin, cayenne pepper is really good for you. I take it every single day. It actually cleans the blood, it repairs the arteries, and it does lots of things for your body. And I take 1/2 teaspoons of caspin every single day. But anyway, go back to what I was talking about with beet, is you start feeling better. And that's because you're grounding. And, grounding is so important. I got into grounding about 2 years ago. I've always walked barefooted. I'm the guy I shovel snow in there barefoot. I'm always barefoot all the time. But it wasn't until I read the book, and I wish I had the book with me in front of me. I don't know what, it's probably my file kind of behind me. But the guy that not really came up with, but really did the science behind grounding, made the grounding mats and everything. It's pretty impressive when you read his book. And I bought his grounding mats. I have them here in Italy. They're on my bed right now, and I sleep on them. But what I notice is, because I do have ones that I travel with, but I don't have the plugs for Italy, so I don't have the European plugs for my grounding kit, for my travel grounding one. But when I don't sleep on it for a couple of days and I'm not walking around on the ground and stuff, I do start feeling a big difference. I do feel a difference with it. And so, if you're looking at a way to get a little bit more healthier, to do things a little bit different, there's little things you can make in your life, small changes that can have a profound effect. And it has nothing to do with exercise. Exercise is important. Don't get me wrong. I exercise all the time. But it's not always just exercise. It's maybe what we talked about tonight, doing a little bit of holistic stuff. And it's not have to be a lot of stuff. Start out small. Squeeze a lemon in water and drink it every morning for the first thing you drink, because what that does is it helps your liver. And what is over time, as your liver becomes more healthy and regenerates itself, you start feeling a lot better. And you start losing weight, and a lot of changes start happening in your body. One thing that I started doing, and once I realized, is I use coconut oil, castor oil, and rosemary oil in my hair. And you're like, well, you say your hair is getting a little thin. Yes, but if you saw my hair 4 years ago, I was damn near completely bald. And so slowly my hair is starting to grow back. And then you realize that they put actually a chemical in shampoo that makes your hair fall out. Because genetically, I don't have the gene to go bald. So I'm going bald for my environmental, because I know that. And so it's just important to know your body, right? And all this plays into mental health. All this plays into mental illness. Go out and look at it. Do your research. You can watch Barbara O'Neill. She's very popular. I have the book on Native American medicines. I have their herbal encyclopedia. You can go to your local library and probably find a lot of these books and check them out if you don't have the money to pay for them. Of course, you can do your research online. Just be cautious with people online, because sometimes people say stupid crap and they really don't know what they're talking about. But the science behind caspin or cayenne pepper, lemons, one thing I do every morning is I eat 6 lemon seeds. And you're like, well, why do you chew up lemon seeds? Well, because lemon seeds has the same properties as aspirin. It's a pain reliever. A lot of people don't realize that. So as I'm taking my lemon water, you have to chew the seeds. You can't swallow them. But I chew those seeds, and that helps me with the pain that I have, because I have issues in my back through C4 and through 7. And so that really helps me through the day. And then you find out that taking, cayenne pepper it helps with arthritis, helps with inflammation, and it helps with all these things that's causing a lot of problems. That all ties into your mental health. And your mental illness. And so it's very important to, look at maybe making a little bit of change. Maybe instead of having that dessert at night, 2 scoops of ice cream, maybe just have 1 scoop of ice cream. or maybe have no ice cream. I do fasting a lot, quite a bit. Some days I fast more than others, but when I start feeling sick, the old saying, starve or starve a fever or feed a cold or something like that. I don't remember. Is it? But if I start feeling a little down, a little sick, I just go on a long fast, and 9 times out of 10, the next day I feel just fine. And there's a lot of science behind fasting. You can look at intermittent fasting, and once your body goes over a certain number of hours, it starts eating those abnormal cells for energy. And so that all becomes very important and something easy you can do. Brian says you are what you eat. So then I'm Italian because I eat a lot of Italian food, Italiano. So, but hey, I'm going to wrap this up. It's late here. We're heading out to Bolzano, Italy tomorrow. Super excited because if you guys remember the Iceman that they found, years ago, they found the guy frozen in the ice and they thought it was a hiker that died last year, and kind of find out he's like 3,000 years old or something. His museum's up there. So we're going to take a 6-hour train ride to go up there, and they're known for their white wine and their chocolate. So I'm super excited about that, but I'm really excited to go see the Iceman because I remember reading about him in school and learning about that. And so it'd be really cool to see him because apparently they have him on display up there. So that's kind of cool. So I'll go up there and see that. But hey, as I wrap this up, everybody, hey, if you're in the path of the storm or if you have family and friends that's down in Florida, please pray for them. Please keep everybody in thoughts and prayers, and please continue to pray for North Carolina as they continue to recover from that horrific hurricane that hit about 8 days ago now, I think it was, that hit, or 10 days ago that it hit. And those families are still struggling. And so if you can donate, try to donate to a local church or try to donate to a local charity, or at least somebody that that's going to make sure that your donation goes to those people for them to continue to get the help they need, because they're going to need help for a long, long time. But along with that, you got the QR code up there for Wreaths Across America. You can click on that, and you can donate as little as $5 to ensure the wreaths are on the tombstones that the veterans that have passed on, during the holiday season. So super important. Along with that, as you know, Wreaths Across America replays my podcast at Fridays at 8 p.m. and Sundays at 10 p.m. Super easy to find. Just download the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, or the Odyssey app, and you search for Wreaths Across America Radio for not only my podcast, but all the great podcasts and radio shows that have. Hey, Brian, have a good night. I'll share pictures about my trip. But hey, you got the 10th Mountain up there with the bourbon, and then you have the Veterans Mortgage, and then you have PCS to Paradise, which, hey, PCS to Italy. That's pretty good paradise over here. I'm not going to complain. It's been pretty good. But hey, with that, you can go to VeteranTrashTalk.com. We got all our t-shirts out there. I think they have some of them discounted now. You got the, I don't have the Quit Being Triggered Pansy shirt. I packed it because I'm going to wear it. I like wearing it in Italy because that always brings up conversations. But we got my t-shirt out there. Yep, there you go. They Quit Being a Triggered Pansy. And then along with my t-shirt, and please remember that, you are a warrior, you are worthy, and you do matter. No matter what you think, you do matter in this world. And just say, it is Mental Illness Week, so please let's watch out for our brothers and sisters. We are keepers. Thoughts and prayers out to my co-host Lynn, who's dealing with a hurricane right now. Hopefully she'll be able to be on the show next week and give us an update on what went on. But with that, please, everybody, take care of yourself. Please watch out for your buddy, your friend, especially if they're in the affected areas. Please try to reach out to them and see if there's anything you can do to help them, because it is very important as we go through, the changes of the seasons and all the things I talked about that. But hey, I love you guys. Appreciate you tuning in, and be sure to tune in next week. I think next week we're going to be on Monday. Chris, is next week Monday or is it on Tuesday? Yes. So next week will be on Monday. I'll be coming back from Bolzano, so maybe I'll share some photos. And I think now we're going to go back to the permanent Monday schedule. So with that, everybody, you guys have a great week. Please take care, and we'll talk to you next week.
What's up, Trash Talkers? What's up, Gruntworks Nation? How do you hire the right financial advisor? In this video, that's going to be somewhere up here when they put the QR code up there. Just scan it or go to our YouTube channel, all right, and you'll be able to download it. In that video, questions are asked and answered about finding the right financial advisor for you and your loved ones. What license do they hold? The crucial factor can provide you with a sense of security and confidence in your financial advisor. What is their experience? See if they have any written complaints in the disclosures. Why is it in your best interest to work with a fiduciary? This role is crucial as it ensures that your advisor working in your best interest, fostering trust and transparency in the advisor-client relationship. Understanding the advisor's process for developing your financial plan is also important. Do they conduct a thorough financial assessment, discuss your goals, and then create a personalized plan? This insight can give you a clear picture of their approach and thoroughness. Find out how to do your own research and security representatives, illustrating their complaint record, licenses held, time in profession, and more. If you haven't been watching, we have done 2 of a 3-part series with Army veteran Ken. All right, again, go to that QR code right there. If it's not there, it was there earlier, or go to our YouTube channel, and we will give you all the financial advice that you need, also help you find the right financial advisor. Stay tuned. Check out for the events for our 3rd of the 3-part